Welcome to New York's statewide central register of child abuse and maltreatment, also known as the SCR or the hotline.
I know what it stands for, but what exactly is the SCR?
We have this important collaboration that happens between you at the local district level and those of us here at the SCR. Our Child Protective Services specialists receive reports of child abuse and maltreatment, and you investigate those reports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We typically get approximately 300,000 calls and register over 150,000 intake reports every year. But you may not be aware that we also carry out other important service center functions, which we'll talk about later in the video, such as database check clearance requests, over 230,000 of these annually, administrative review requests, over 7,000 annually, and requests for information, over 12,000 annually. To accomplish this, we rely on a single workforce of 150 CPS specialists who are cross-trained to process child abuse and maltreatment hotline calls and other types of service center requests when our call volume allows. Minimum qualifications for staff include a bachelor's degree and direct experience in child protective or child welfare services. In fact, the majority of our specialists have experience investigating CPS reports at the local district level.
The majority here have at least 2 years experience dealing with at-risk youth, or they've had at least a year working in the child protective area. We cover everything from the greeting, the law. There's about 26 to 28 modules. It's 8 weeks, 6 weeks classroom, 2 weeks of on-job training. And this is a process that actually starts about the 3rd week. We start out with mock calls. They're in a system, training system, and every call is listened to. People who call who are extremely angry, upset, and rightly so. We have some who are nervous. It's the first time they've ever called us. They're nervous because they're telling us secrets that family members may or may not be involved in, friends, loved ones. So it's the whole gamut. We train to deal with hostile callers. We train to deal with the nervous callers, the callers that, for the most part, don't even realize that there's a report there. And that's the expertise that we have to have in interviewing in order to get that information.
So with the common goal of promoting the safety, health, and well-being of New York's children and families, we should all understand the roles we play in this vital collaboration.
Okay, so what exactly happens at the SCR?
Our cross-trained workforce of CPS specialists tackles more than just child abuse and maltreatment hotline calls on any given day, depending on call volume.
We have to do clearances for individuals that want to apply for a position in a childcare type setting. We also deal with requests for information. People are entitled to copies of their record. So we handle a large quantity of those. And lastly, administrative reviews. Staff are interchangeable, so staff do not specialize. No matter who's on the other end of the phone, no matter what the nature of that call is, that staff person is trained and equipped to deal with it.
The primary responsibility of our specialist is to answer calls made by the Child Abuse and Maltreatment Hotline from anywhere in New York State. These calls can come from members of the general public or mandated reporters. We interview callers for pertinent information, check for prior history against the statewide connections database, and transmit, as required by statute, the intake report to you at the local district Child Protective Services unit for investigation.
If a caller feels at all uncomfortable and doesn't want to leave their name, they can certainly report anonymously. You know, we like to encourage them to leave their names so that the information is available to the local districts, because it's so important for the local districts to be able to talk directly with that source. We have to elicit as much information as we can about the situation, not just the presenting concern that the caller relays, but other things that may be going on in that house. And if we don't do a good job, then the local Child Protective Services is not going to be able to do a good job making sure, investigating the situation, making sure that those children are safe. Central Register is really committed to doing a quality job and really wants to make sure that we're providing the local districts with the information that they need.
How are hotline calls handled and what can I expect?
Our call volume can at times be extremely high, so we have to carefully manage our staffing levels 24 hours a day. Administrators here rely on some innovative technology to study patterns in historical data, which helps determine how to maintain appropriate staffing at any given time.
We have different types of software that helps us manage the hotline. One of them is Centerview, and then another one is Witness. And Centerview allows us to see how many staff we actually have assigned to intake. So we do know the exact number of staff that are on the hotline at any given point. We have also other workloads that are important here, database checks, requests for information. So if the call volume is low enough, we will deploy to other workloads. Witness is our forecasting software, so we'll utilize multiple years of data to give us an idea what we can expect for call volume. So on any given day, we'll use maybe several years back of data to let us know that if a particular month or day is we can expect high call volume. It also lets us know how we're doing at the moment. So we'll utilize that every half hour. A line manager will check Witness to see what our daily access is, see if we're meeting our access. So we do utilize a lot of tools here to manage. We have a huge workforce, so we have to use those tools.
What is an actual call like?
A typical child abuse and maltreatment hotline call lasts between 12 and 15 minutes, and CPS specialists then spend another 15 to 20 minutes on connections processing and other after-call work. But once a call comes in, the specialist starts by trying to get as much information as they can from the caller.
You have reached the New York State Child Abuse and Maltreatment Register. If this is an emergency, hang up now.
Good morning. This is the New York State Central Register. My name is Gary. How may I help you today?
Hi, Gary. My name is Renee Shepard, and I'm calling from a high school.
We try to get all the necessary demographic information from the caller, like names, ages, addresses, and familial relations of the alleged victims and alleged perpetrators. Our goal is to provide you with the most accurate picture possible.
Okay, what's the name of the school you're calling from?
I'm calling from Jefferson Clinton High School, which is in Middle Island, New York.
Okay, and what's your capacity at the school, ma'am, and what's your phone number?
I'm the school social worker, and my telephone number is 631.
We know all allegations made by the caller and get as many details as possible about specific acts and concerns.
Hey, ma'am, you're doing great. Now, as far as you know, speaking to Jasper, did you get any indication that the physical altercations are happening regularly between the parents?
Well, yeah, he did say that he often witnesses his father punching and hitting on his mother, and he feels bad because he says he can't do anything about it. And he has 2 younger siblings, and there have been times when they've actually tried to intervene in the fights, and their father ended up hitting them for getting involved.
Now, how old are the siblings, and have the children ever been injured that Jasper reports to you?
Based on all the information provided by the caller, we then go through a decision-making process to determine if there is reasonable cause to suspect that the child's physical, mental, or emotional condition has been impaired or is in imminent danger of becoming impaired by the failure of the child's parent or person legally responsible to exercise a minimum degree of care. This is the legal standard we must use when determining whether a report should be registered and submitted to you for investigation. If that legal standard has not been met, the report cannot be registered. We'll explain the reasons for this to the caller and offer the option of speaking to a supervisor. We may also offer some additional law enforcement or referral resources before ending the call. And also, we immediately refer any information about crimes or immediate threats to a child's health and safety by persons not defined as legally responsible to the appropriate law enforcement agency.
All right, Ms. Shepard, then after our conversation today, I'm definitely going to register a report. Okay. Is there any other concerns regarding the family that you would like to discuss with me today?
Well, no, I think that you've gotten everything from me, and I want to thank you so much for taking this report because we are very concerned about this family.
Okay, Ms. Shepard, now let me sum up what we've discussed so far. Okay, Jasper has been absent 33 days and 18 days tardy thus far.
Yes.
And as a result, he's failing.
That's correct.
Okay. You believe that both parents are aware of his absences. Yep, they're not attempting to intervene in any way.
That's true.
Okay. Jasper stated that his father has in the past physically assaulted his mother, and this has happened in the presence of all the children in the home.
That's what he's told me.
Okay. He also stated that he and his siblings have attempted to intervene and that they've been hit by the father as a result.
Yes.
Okay. You also believe that these fights are taking place after the parents are intoxicated.
Yes, that's what he told me.
Do you know where Jasper and his siblings are right now at the time of this report?
Well, Jasper did come to school today, so our dismissal here is at 2:15. But the other children attend a different school, and I'm not sure what time their school gets out. But I do have their school's phone number and address if you'd like to contact them.
Okay, well, that's really going to be helpful to CPS, and I'm going to make a note of that in the miscellaneous part of the report. I want to give you the call ID for your mandated reporters form. Now, are you aware of that form?
Yes, I am very aware of that form. In fact, I have it right here. It's all filled out and it's ready to go out.
Okay, ma'am. Well, let me give you that number right now. Okay? It is going to be 123.
So if the call meets the legal standard and there is reasonable cause to suspect child abuse or maltreatment, we register the report and immediately transmit it to you at the local CPS unit through the connection system. Our specialists may also fax or verbally transmit some reports taken after hours to your on-call worker. Keep in mind that here at the SCR, we must use the legal standard of reasonable cause to suspect when determining whether or not to register a report. This means there is a suspicion founded on circumstances sufficiently strong that a reasonable person would suspect a child has been harmed or is in imminent danger of being harmed. We do not have to meet the higher standard of some credible evidence like you do for local CPS investigations. It's important to know that not all the calls we receive result in an intake report being registered. Some of the most common reasons we don't register reports are: the alleged perpetrator is not a parent or person legally responsible for the child, there is no child younger than 18 years of age in the household, there are insufficient demographics to locate the child or family, or there is no reasonable cause to suspect child abuse or maltreatment.
Okay, well, how do I connect with SCR staff if I need to?
Our supervisors and staff are available 24 hours a day if you have any questions or need clarification on a report.
Well, the SCR is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The location is very secure. Our whereabouts is not published. You won't find our location or our address anywhere.
We at the SCR share a common mission with you. We're all working hard every day to protect children from abuse and maltreatment. This important collaboration requires good communication, and we have experienced supervisors on site and administrative staff on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to provide support and supervisory consultation to callers. If you have any other questions or feedback, please call 518-474-1567. And if you need to contact us about a specific registered intake report, please make sure you ask to speak with a monitor when you call.
Some of the quality control we do is as a result of feedback from local districts, and that's why our partnership is so important. We want open dialogue so that they tell us where we're doing a good job and where we may need to improve.